Sorry, I was muted.
Oh, it's
Um,
okay.
Hi. Could you pin your video?
Yes, it's pinned.
Cool. Hello.
Hi, good to see you.
Yeah, you too. Immediately got anxiety.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it in my chest.
Mm.
I don't know what I'm afraid of.
Maybe you're not afraid. Maybe that's just, maybe there's no meaning. Mhm. As I was speaking in the intro, like my heart was pounding at times, but it's just like, what does that mean? I don't know.
It's so strange. But yeah, it feels good to, yeah, not try to stifle it.
Hmm.
Um,
Beautiful.
I
Yeah,
have
because
tried to,
yeah, if there's no meaning to it, then it's not good or bad. It's just what it is.
yeah. Um, this morning, I was feeling really, it was like sad and angry. Um, and I stretched after I got up and then sat for a while. And like immediately when I went to just sit with my eyes closed, I just started crying. And
Mm.
um, my thoughts were about just how I believed in how I believed there was something else to get to, and the different ways I believed that,
Mm.
and the different ways that what was put on me, um, and how much like striving there was uh, to get to something else, and how I just drove myself crazy in that in a lot of different ways.
Mm.
Um, and I just like it felt so unnecessary. Like it like why was there never an emphasis on, and I mean maybe there was in certain ways, but just like the simplicity, like just the simple being, I guess, the simple why wasn't it just this? Like why wasn't that what was communicated to me?
I know.
And why
Yeah.
was all like and a lot of it I was thinking about like spirituality specifically. Um, because yeah, I don't know. I feel a lot of different things about my experience with spirituality at different times, but I really believed there was something else to get to. And that was what was communicated to me. Like it was truth, like it was real, like it was something I should believe in.
Yeah.
Like it was a hope to get somewhere else, not to just be here, but to like I mean, they would say, like be here now and stuff like that. But there is
You
still
gotta
like an
you gotta
emphasis.
work to be here.
Yeah, yeah,
Gotta
you
get
really
to
gotta
it.
do it. Yeah. Like what does that mean? Saying it like it actually means something specific. That doesn't mean anything specific.
Hmm.
Um, which that kind of realization is as that's it. I know that's been like pretty funny to me, but also just heartbreaking that there was so much striving to be present or to be myself or to be loved. Um, there was like I had such a idealized idea of the way I should be acting and interacting with people in the best way. It was like I had an idea of like the way it should be that would be the best for others, but also the best for or I just yeah, just like the ideal way of being. Um and I had to figure it out and know it and feel myself in that.
Yeah, really well said. It's exactly
Yeah,
what happened here. And yeah, it does become more obvious to you how it's just not necessary because it is all nonsense that you're fed. And actually, what you can see more clearly is that trying to act a specific way is the twistedness. You will act more twisted because of that. But if there is just an allowance for the body to be as it is, knowing that you're not in control of whatever feelings may arise, um, the complication resolves itself.
yeah. I had a image of just yeah, just like a scary like forced smile and just like relating to just the forced persona of yeah, trying to trying to communicate love to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's not necessary and it's unnatural and
Yep.
that's not like it doesn't really mean something. Like that's not reality.
No, it's fake. You become actually psychotic, even more psychotic. Like when I think back of how, uh, yeah, I used to talk to my sister and stuff. It's like, oh my God, no wonder she just never replied to me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got I've got memories like that too. And the ways it would morph into like the new thing. Uh and yeah, it felt like I was progressing, mm, going somewhere, getting something. Um
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy that uh yeah, it's just using the same like imaginary world to say that love is the answer. Um yeah, it's the same delusion as saying anything else, like the perfect career is the answer, or finding your perfect partner or your soulmate is the answer, or it's the same thing. Fake,
yeah, the answer
false,
for what?
hmm an unachievable thing. It's not there. It's not real.
One like I guess with spirituality I can just feel like as I was getting into it because I had considered myself like atheistic for several years, and then I got into spirituality, through um yeah, through different stuff. I got into like tarot cards and stuff. Um, but I can feel what was pushing me into that was just life, so much of my life just feeling unbearable in a way that I felt like I couldn't actually engage with. Um, and I think um, like a lot of it was like pretty avoidant, um, in that spirituality. I like there definitely was some opening to certain things, and but there was always like a sense of like, yeah, trying to be better than I was, trying to change what I was, and know how to be perfect and interact. And there was a critical, like a self-critical thing, which like, yeah, there were certain things that I mean, I guess I don't even really know. It doesn't feel like yeah, it doesn't really feel like I healed much. It felt, looking back, it feels more superficial than it did at the time, because it was a facade. I guess it was like a intentional, like thinking thinking through and like remembering, like, oh, this is how I interact with someone. This is, and just like it was, it was kind of a rejection of the way of what I had grown into, and it was being critical of that, and then trying to um like um compensate, I guess, like the other way, try to push it the other way, um in a way that was forced, that wasn't genuine or natural. Um but it felt like that's what I needed to do. I felt like I needed to strive for that.
Yeah, because you can't tell if everything is telling you one way or another to strive, that you have to work hard to get something, then it like fits into that narrative and like kind of makes sense to the person, you know? So what can you do? You can't, you don't know any different.
One, it was so, it just felt so hopeful to like consider that, like that there was a different reality to get to, or something, or like there was something else here. Um,
I know. Yeah. It's really beautifully said, everything that you're saying. It's it's really convincing for the person to think that there is an alternative reality.
a way to get out of this.
It's an escape. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
Oh,
massive
that
escape.
yeah, that is one thing. I think like mm, so when you're a kid, you're basically being taught by adults, you know? And they're by that time you're massively conditioned to seek, um, constantly seeking. So then it just gets indoctrinated into that small body over time. And school is a system to make you a cog in a wheel. And the system itself is constant improvement. Like you could be better. It's a pushing kind of, you're not good enough as you are. And then it just amplifies from there. Like everything is like that, every single thing. Um, what was I going to say about that? I forgot. It'll come back to
That's
me. I don't know.
okay. Yeah. Um, yeah, I know what you're saying with school and all of it. I don't know. It's crazy to look at.
Yeah, this is why it's so disturbing. It's like, really? Like 8 billion people got it wrong? 8 billion?
It's massive.
Yeah.
It is, yeah, um, I did want to ask you, just about your experience. I know you talked about like, like physical changes in your body. Um, and yeah, I guess I just wanted to talk to you about that. I've noticed like a lot of stuff happening like in my muscles and stuff, and some of it's pretty uncomfortable. Um, like sometimes I'll wake up and um like I'll move my leg and then my calf will like lock up, like seize
Mm,
up like a cramp. Um, and if I like try to stretch it out, it'll like the cramp won't be there, but I can still feel like so much tension, like painful tension in the muscle. But then sometimes I will just let the cramp like stay still and it'll kind of work through, and eventually release without me stretching it. And that's been something, but like some days like my legs I've just been like so like fatigued and uh my body's gotten very tired. There's also I know you've talked a couple times about like movements in your face. That's been happening pretty frequently in like different spots. It's interesting, like my lip or like a couple days ago it was like the sides here. There is like a little movement, a little tremor or something. Um, and yeah, I guess sometimes there is a a concern if like there's like a physical issue happening uh recently there's been like a sensation on the left side of my chest. It's not like painful, but like it's like a slight like a dull ache, I guess, on the side of my chest. Like I'm associating it with my heart. Um, but like that's something that is like, oh shit, do I have a heart problem? But it doesn't feel like it's not intense and persistent enough that I'm like, oh shit, I'm dying. Um, but there is a sensation there which I'm not used to. Um, and there's been a lot of other stuff like that, but I guess I just wanted to know um kind of your experience with that because it's not something that I've been through with my body um, before, um,
yeah.
and it was very strange.
A lot of things can be alarming because, yeah, uh, if I had to guess, it felt like all of that intense, searching and seeking and hoping and like all of that is stored in the body and it spasms or it contracts like as it's um allowed to be there like finally because the chasing it really it keeps like storing things in the body and you're like unaware of it. But then when you do kind of stop, it, that stuff starts to unravel, you know? Um, and then it can be really alarming because I remember I had heart things as well where it felt like it stopped for a second and then it
Oh, I've had
started
that too. Yeah.
and I was like, huh? um, but again, it wasn't worrisome enough because it happened very randomly. It wasn't frequent. Um, yeah, and before that, it felt like the heart was breaking, like it felt raw and tender. Uh, yeah, how to describe it? Like the muscles have been like beaten or something, and it was, yeah, I could just feel it all. Yeah, like you could have stored stuff in your legs in particular. I never had that much in the legs, except for twitching. Like my legs would just like kick or something like that out of nowhere. Uh, but I've heard people who had like so much tension or shaking, like in the legs or feet. Um, yeah, and even yesterday I had like a face spasm thing that yeah, it contracted like extremely tight for a few seconds and it just softened on its own. Yeah.
Has has that kind of stuff seemed to lessen, kind of stabilize for you in general? Like it's less often that stuff like that happens, like the muscular stuff.
I think overall I can say that. Yeah, but when you're like this isn't linear. So when there is energy to do something again, and then it kind of like repeats that pattern of like, oh, I need to get I this is really important. I really need to get this. It does do something to the body again, and then it just takes its time to for that to run its course. And it's not like you can dictate when it stops. But when it does start to soften and stuff, like the body will go through another round of that stuff or a deeper layer. Um, but overall, yeah, the body has really softened and it feels like it's closer to homeostasis. I don't even know what that means, but like a foundational sense that I was never there before. Um, but usually, like in the beginning, I would worry a lot. I'm already kind of averse to going to the doctor, if I'm being honest. So, and I think there's a trust in things naturally kind of unfolding also. And also like I kind of there's also less care about the body dying, if I'm being really honest. It's just like, it will be what it is. And I know that I'm ultimately like overall healthy, so whatever. But I just let the body do whatever it did because it is fine. These things are normal. Um, yeah, I'm not giving you advice, but for most people, like, yeah, my tendency is just to be like, write it out. Like, it's fine. The body's just taking care of itself. It's undoing what it did before, what it accumulated before.
Yeah. And I guess, yeah, I've just kind of like I'll notice something and then if it does seem to like worsen or like persist in a way that seems worrisome, then yeah, I'm open to like having someone help me investigate that, going to a doctor. Uh, um,
Yeah, because
But
the also what I've seen is like doctors don't really know either, but they don't admit it. They just like they're guessing too. I'm not saying with certain things they have more expertise for sure than I do, but a lot of this stuff is like they don't know because the body is also in a different territory than they're used to. They're used to treating the person, and it's a very different energy in the body when that's happening. Basically, the human or the person is just trying to get by. Um, so it makes sense for them to take like medication or get surgery or do the normal stuff. But this is like different territory. Your body's just unwinding to a place where they're not familiar with how the body functions here. But I'll say things to my mom like, "Yeah, you don't need to take that medication." But then she'll take it and then like she'll feel a lot better. So, I'm just like, "Okay, I don't know anything."
yeah, yeah, you're not saying you have more expertise than a doctor. You're just
Yeah. I
there's
equally don't know
question in it
anything.
all. Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, what I can say is like the body is like so unbelievably capable in ways that we're not encouraged to trust the body. Sometimes it might look sick. Doesn't mean that it's actually sick. Maybe it's going through something. Maybe it's releasing something.
It's not it's not a problem. It is crazy to just notice stuff just happening in the body. Uh, it's yeah, it's just kind of wild. But
It is wild. Yeah.
yeah, and just how all of nature functions, I guess, is just incredible. And it's I guess it's just wild to feel like we need to like shut that down in ourselves because that's what it felt like has happened. Um, like I shut down like the natural flow of just energy or whatever. And like I notice like some days I'll get like I'll feel sore and tight and then I'll lay down and I'll feel okay. Like I'll relax and like there's still sensation in my body, but it feels like energy was like tight and not moving, and then it will just feel like it's been allowed to shift and move in that relaxation, and it won't be an unpleasant type soreness in that moment.
Yeah.
Like it'll feel like it's like actively releasing, um, just laying there. Um,
Beautiful.
and that's when there's usually a lot more like spasms and stuff like that. And I've had some like big, like like Kundalini, kind of shakes,
Hmm.
which I don't really know what that's about. I I definitely spent a lot more time like thinking and considering like what is this? But yeah, just like big like shakes and throws like from my pelvis and stuff.
Mm.
Um, which has been less recently, but it definitely has happened sometimes. But yeah, like pretty like dramatic movements or like shaking or like I'd be sitting and like just my whole like spine would like drop like that.
Mm.
Um, and it's just yeah, it's just so interesting. And it was yeah, when it first started happening, I remember it was just wild to feel that involuntariness of it and that
Yeah.
unavoidability of it.
Yeah.
Um, it kind of blew my mind because I didn't really consider that this could move without um, intention, like so dramatically.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, beautiful. That's really well described. Yeah, the body just does whatever it wants to do.
uh, yeah. But then I don't know. It's also interesting because I feel like I feel like I'm I've been more open to I guess like personal aspects, I guess, in certain ways. Um, like certain things that I tried to avoid or suppress, like even like yeah, I guess like in this like striving to get to like an awakening or whatever. Like there I feel like there was a confusion and there was like a concept of like becoming something else. Like becoming not a person. Um, and so I feel like certain things were like interpreted as a kind of progress, in like just to see how I was functioning was changing, um, or like yeah, losing like interest in certain things and not doing certain things, stuff like that. Um, which some of that I some of that was like an active like avoidance of certain like activities and stuff. Um, some of it with like instruction from teachers, like uh, like uh, don't watch TV, don't go on video games, don't like less video games, less TikTok. You have to sit and meditate and look look for the one who's looking, whatever. That was kind of
Yeah.
that was uh yeah, which I mean I did like really actively like pursue that in that space like really seriously like
Mm.
put a lot of time into like sitting and not consuming um
Mm.
like different media and stuff and yeah looking for myself
Hmm.
because that was the instruction I got which did lead to uh a huge release crying and laughing when I saw the absurdity of it in a way that I couldn't express with words. Um, because it was just obvious, like there's not an end to get to through that. Like you can look, you can't, you can't, if you're if you, you can't find what's looking. It is the looking. Like
Mm.
I um and so I guess when that was recognized, I just felt so much elation and grief at the same time, just like grief for because I'd spent years doing all this bullshit,
Mm.
trying to be something, trying to be myself, trying to find myself. And that stuff that is encouraged, like, oh, find yourself, know yourself, be your authentic self. But that's unnecessary pressure that's just absurd because it's unavoidable to be yourself. Um, and it's also impossible to know yourself in a way that holds it.
Beautiful.
Um, and yeah, I did listen to a talk that from the teacher that really encouraged that last night, and um, there was like a sweet feeling towards him. Some of the stuff he said didn't quite feel right for me, but there was a sweet feeling to just revisit that, and there was yeah, just kind of a simple love and appreciation toward him. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm happy I found your videos. Uh,
Mm.
they've really helped me. Um, I they definitely I don't know how I engaged with them complicated some stuff for a while, but um, I I have really benefited from just being clearly pointed to like just hear this instead of all the bullshit to strive to get to and believe in like it matters. Um,
Yeah, nice.
um, so
You know,
I don't know.
I had a similar like feeling toward my teacher. Like she wasn't as bad and she wasn't like abusive like other teachers can be, or um they could do some really twisted stuff, but she wasn't that bad. You know, she was about trauma healing, and I appreciated that trauma seemed to be released with her in a what I considered a safe space at the time. And yeah, and then the more that cleared out, the more I could sense the other stuff that was encased with all of that that wasn't necessary. Yeah, it's not that I don't like her or anything. It's just like uh yeah, even the feeling of like gratitude or um yeah, that just naturally like fell away in its own time because it's like it's not about her. It's not, I don't see like a person that was there anymore. It's like the whole conditioning of all of society is represented in every single human body. And there's not that much of a difference anymore. So I can't like individualize people in that way anymore. And it just naturally happened the more it cleared out. Um, so a part of me can understand, like, at a certain point, if you're deeply, deeply traumatized, certain things can resonate and certain things can seem to help at that time. Do I still think it's really necessary, like all of the other stuff? Like, not really, you know, still not really. You can help with trauma without brainwashing on top of that, you know? And again, like they don't know that they're doing it. It's because they are that and they cannot see beyond that. That's why they're able to do it. And that's why it's not pretend. It's in a way genuine, you know. That's what they learned from their teacher, or they think that having a lineage and following their teacher is like the right thing to do, and the more people will respect that, or because you are from a lineage of Ramana Maharshi or something like that, like, that's what they do. That's how you monetize this. That's how you market this. Um, and that's how I see it now. It's like that's all a business. That's spiritual marketing. And but yeah, it's only because I can't do that now that I'm like, yeah, you're still a person. Like there's still stuff there. And it's okay, but like I, um I can't just sit around and be like, yeah, believe them.
That makes sense.
But does it feel manageable, like the body stuff?
Yeah. Um, yeah, it does. Um, there's um there's definitely been like some moments and like some days where I it just doesn't feel like I have energy to do much and it feels kind of depressive. Um, but not in the same way uh as it has in the past. Like not so much like yeah, shame on myself about it, I guess. Though that can like there's still been some of that, but it feels different. But yeah, I feel okay. Um, it's definitely I don't know. There's it's it's interesting because yeah, like today in the call as people were talking, I was just seeing really clearly, like repeatedly, like uh judgment coming up in my head, and like just seeing like how prevalent that has been for me recently. Um, and just like having certain ideas about yeah, like how to be and stuff coming back in certain situations, feeling like I need to like control myself in some way, um, which is very uncomfortable.
Mm,
But when it happens, like then it also like yeah, it feels like I'm struggling with myself to like not feel like that, and then there's the whole yeah, um,
that makes sense.
yeah. But then there's periods of um relaxation and what feels like an expansion. Um, but like I can't, yeah, I think a lot of what I had been doing was trying to hold on to a view from that or something. Like I would have experiences like Easter expansion. I would try to like follow it through to like other scenarios and like have it give me like perspective on how to be here. And I think that's just kind of coming up again. Um, and just yeah, just also different things about um yeah, just just concern about like how I appear to people and like um some um just like considering like how I should be like attractive to someone. Um that's kind of come back.
Mm.
Um uh, which is interesting to see kind of the paranoia in that and kind of the ridiculousness of it too. Um, and it's like if if I would really want to be in a close relationship with someone like that, I would not want to hold to some forced way of being. Um, I wouldn't want that to be what they appreciate about me. Um, so it's just kind of ridiculous. Like it's like in a way like trying to get what I want, but if that was what you would get out of what I would get out of that, it wouldn't even be what I actually want out of it. Um, because I'm not being myself. Um,
Yeah, that is
which
so well
yeah.
said. That's what everyone's doing with everything, though.
Is what I've done with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
But
so
yeah,
gorgeously said.
well, I'm doing okay though.
Nice.
um, it just feels kind of chaotic, I guess, um, sometimes. Um, yeah, I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
Yeah. Hmm. Good. Yeah. I think recently there's been another, yeah, round of like stressful things happening all at once and then feeling that intensity in the body again. Um, but now even that was like there there was no fighting against it anymore. So like the body couldn't sleep well. Um, it was more antsy and wasn't making clear decisions and was but there was no problem as well. Like it was highly uncomfortable, but it was also it is what it is. This needs to play out and I have no control over it. Um yeah. And now it feels like something has kind of cleared and it feels nicer for the body. But I think that's what made me realize like, oh, this isn't necessarily the end of suffering. Like being um a human, like living this being lived. I don't even know how to say it, but like having a mind and this thing is like this for one is insane. And if the body is like anxious or tense or stressed, like it will be insane still. And now it's just obvious that it had nothing to do with me, you know? It's not like it doesn't mean anything, but it's like very clearly seen that it's insane. Um, so in a way, that's kind of nice to see. This might be the so-called end of like personal suffering, but it still can be difficult to live in this, not in this, but this thing is crazy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So you're saying you don't have perfect reactions to every situation and you're not
Oh yeah, no. Not at all. And the one that cares is the one that's gone, you know? The energy that cares. And then it does that is what made it more clear. Like everything that everyone is saying is bullshit.
Mhm. And all these idols. Yeah. Mm. And just figures and stuff. Um, what people think of them and they assume certain things like spiritual figures and like spiritual figures like from a long ass time ago that we don't even know. um, and they say they're
Exactly.
perfection and have an idea of what that perfection means when we don't even know. We don't know them. Um,
Exactly.
we have some words which are pretty, yeah. That's I don't know. It's nice to hear that you experience life normally,
Yeah,
or yeah. I guess I don't know what I mean by normally, but
I get
um,
what you mean. Yeah.
okay.
It's very similar. It's just yeah, I have to think back of how it used to be in order to actually like understand the difference. But yeah, overall, it just feels like it's not about me anymore, but there can still be, yeah, the body still goes through stuff, you know?
How could not?
Yeah. It's also still surrounded by insanity. How can that not affect the body? And also, I think there was a period where the body became so sensitive, like um the sound was the body. Like the sound, it wasn't sound. It was like energy in the body. So like it affected it, you know? And mm, yeah, the body was so irritated like at that time and was annoyed at everything and couldn't stand anything. Um, and at other times it wanted to vomit. Like it just was too much. It does subside. It does kind of yeah, the body's just processing something, but that's what it can be like.
Yeah, it's also been like that here in some moments. Probably not in the same way, but I remember uh, at my job. There's a lot of noise, and I remember this was several months ago, but it just like felt like something imploded into me, and I just like broke down. Um, uh, which was uncomfortable to happen where it happened because like I had to step away and like it felt like just like it felt like the sound like imploded into me.
Mm,
Um, it was very disorienting. But that hasn't happened for a bit. But there is an experience with sensations like that where like sometimes it does feel like I do like I don't know, like a loud sound will happen and it feels like I do feel it in me, um, like in my whole body. Um, and I can, yeah, I feel like I can kind of orient myself toward that to like feel it more when it's like not as noticeable, but like when I'm like relaxed and like a loud sound, like it feels like there's like something in here.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't have I don't have anything else to say, but I really appreciate you. Um,
Yeah. Oh,
thank
I
you
really
for
appreciate you
what you
too, Tara.
shared.
Oh,
Thank
yeah. Thank you for being you. It's so sweet.
you. Yeah, right back at ya.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the sound thing is like there used to be a lot more filters separating like this and everything else. Um, but now it's just like I can't protect the body in that way anymore. It's just if it's there, it's there. And the body's not used to it. It does take time for the body to get used to that. It's a completely different way of living. Um, Yes. Thanks so much for being here, everyone. Mm. All right. I think I'll see you in 2 weeks. Yeah, take care. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing. Love you all.